Hello everybody, welcome back to the stream. Today we're going to be talking for just a little bit, maybe an hour, about video coming very soon, Sunday, for the survival stories. Not part 3, of course, but it's going to be talking all about part 3 and giving some dates as to when you guys can expect the trailer and then the actual thing, the launch or the release of part 3. But yeah, let's chat. Welcome everyone. I want to kind of just inform you all on how things are going, and talk about how we just started filming today. I am so excited. If you see the thumbnail for this stream, I don't know. I feel like I'm looking at like an animated movie when I'm watching footage of the survival stories now of like part 3, and it's just kind of weird because it's like a machinima, but it literally looks like there's this shot. I don't want to show you guys yet, but it's just like weird, man. We've just gotten so good. The team has gotten so good at what they do. And all the people that I work with are just so amazing and talented. So, yeah, it's awesome. So, y'all, Juan, hello. You have a Subnautica picture. I love that. Hello, Dino Collective. Welcome to the stream. We're going to be talking about survival stories stuff. Crane Edits, hello. Will you do an Extinction one? The survival stories is going to be frozen or paused after aberration, and so it's up in the air. But yeah. So Sunday, what's going on Sunday? Well, allow me to tell you. Yes, Rockwell. Yes, Rockwell is happening. Oh yeah, the complete full story of ARK. Ronan, that's a great question. Let's talk about that too. So, but first Sunday, before I get into that. So, okay. Before that, okay. So, what's going on Sunday? Well, guys, Sunday I'm going to be releasing a video that's kind of like a status update on part 3 and how things are going. I've done this before for part 1 and part 2, as you may have seen before if you've been around for a little while. So videos like, let's see, they usually have update in the name, I guess, but let's see, like there was, let me just put this here. Yeah, it's been a while, okay? Yeah, ARK, the Survival Stories Aberration Update number 2. So, really, part 2 made you cry. It was incredible. Thank you. Part 3 is going to make you cry 3 times as much, hopefully. Or at least like 33, 50%. We want to make you more cry. More cry. Cry more. But, yeah, so I'll be releasing an update video Sunday that's going to explain what's going on, because I like to make it pretty clear to you guys where we're along in the process, at what point. Yay, more crying. At what point along we are right now, but then also where we're gonna be in, say, a month, for example. And we'll also be giving you dates. So like a trailer date, so you'll know when the trailer is going to release, and then also when part 3 is going to release on Patreon, and then when it's going to release for the public. So it'll be on Patreon, and I believe probably what I'll end up doing is also making it available for members, but that may not necessarily happen. We'll see. I'll have to think more about that. But it'll be available for premium subscribers, whether that's Patreon, YouTube membership, potentially, that kind of thing. And then it'll go public, a week or 2 later. And that'll give me some time to even put more polish on it. But both versions, whether it's for the premium release and the final release, are going to be just the most polished as possible as far as survival stories go. Not only are we doing so much more with particles and freaking so many maps and extra things to really just make this something so unique that you just don't get with ARK. But we're also, I just lost my train of thought entirely. We're doing that. Oh yes, hold on. We're doing all of that, but also we'll be putting a lot into post-production. That's what I was trying to say. So, you know, there's everything that all the developers, all mappers, modders, everyone's doing with that, that we're doing so much more with. But then also, you know, in the past with part 2 and 1, I would rush the post-production process so much near the end because I felt like I could do it. You know, I had this idea that I was just like really fast and really great. And while I'm a fast editor, that doesn't mean that I'm happy with the quality of rushed stuff that I make. Usually it ends up being pretty okay, but you know, really I want to be able to put a lot into this because it's the finale. It's the final survival stories, possibly ever, at least for a long time. So I got you into hunting for the lore in ARK. Well, cool. I too really was obsessed with that for a while. That's actually part of what made me want to make the survival stories. I was like just obsessed with getting the Explorer notes, like getting every single one. It was very unhealthy obsession. Interview with the voice actors. Like how they look back at their... So that would be cool for some of them, I think. Not all of the voice actors I've worked with have been that open. Not all of them are people I know that well. So like, for example, Yanni Harris, I don't really know her on any level. It's been a very professional type of relationship, I guess, where it's just like, and I haven't worked with her in forever. You know, it's been a while because as much as we're releasing part 3, which has her voiceover in it, she's still voicing Helena for the rest of Aberration. She did that voiceover like over a year ago now. So it's been a while since I've worked with her. No plans to work with her again in the future, unless there's a particular character beyond Helena that I have in mind, because henceforth, or from here on, Madeline Madden is the voice actor for Helena, and she would be what we use the voiceover. We would use her voiceover for any future survival stories, including dossiers and that kind of thing. But maybe some other people like Elliot Crossley, you know, the voice actor we had do the David Tennant impression for Rockwell, or Spencer Cannon, John Dakea, Aixake as Raya, you know, or any of the graduate students, which you'll get to learn about in part 3, maybe. But you know, a lot of these people I didn't work with. To extension. I'd say Mei-Yin was probably the one that, or Meiko Nishi, who voiced Mei-Yin, is probably the one I'm closest with as far as, you know, not beyond just a professional relationship, but you know, I would consider us friends to some degree, because we've worked together so much, and she's really cool. So maybe she'd be interested in doing that kind of thing, but there's my long-winded response. Elliot, yeah, he's great. He's awesome. Are you going to change Lee Mei-Yin's voice actor compared to the one I heard from the animated series trailer? That one sounds a lot more like Mei-Yin's character than the one you used. Change her for, you mean for Extinction? If we do Extinction, no, we would keep Mei Kunishi, because we don't have Michelle Yeoh. Michelle Yeoh, that's her name, yeah. She's an amazing actress and also a Hollywood actress that works for a while. Like she wouldn't do a fan-made project with all due respect. It's not really something she would do. And I wouldn't drop Mei Kunishi, you know, over just to have someone that sounded more mature or older or something like that. Hello, Andrew. I'm good. How are you? Hey, Brandon, you've loved the story so far. Ab's your favorite. How will you do Extinction? What will you do with Ab? Make a new map. Like ab or what? I'm not totally sure I understand what you're asking, but if we do Extinction, it'll be pretty sweet. I guess we're gonna have to, you know, like aberration, we would have to develop so many things for it, tons of different types of content. But yeah, so back to the video Sunday. I'll be showing you guys some of the shots from filming over the course of what we filmed today and tomorrow. Just some real minor stuff, you know, and then I'll be sharing just general development stuff, teaser pictures of things that we're working on right now, just to sure to hype you up, I guess, but mostly to kind of communicate where we're at right now, because you know, as we've been doing this for a while, I've become more and more interested in sort of transparency and, I guess, you know, showing you guys the process and, you know, taking this more seriously, I guess, as, wow, my nose gets really itchy, as a, you know, as an art form, I guess, because more and more I've realized that Machinima is something that is what we've been doing for all this time. You know, I didn't want to think about it for a while because I feel like when we think of Machinima, we think of that terrible company. But Machinima is just machine cinema. That's sort of it's the combination of those two words, and it refers to this real-time game engine, using this real-time game engine as a platform or a place to film with. And so that's what we do, and with that, I want to be more open with what Machinima is, what we're doing with it, how we're using it to, of course, make the survival stories, and hopefully to make it more educational, I guess, for anyone for any of you who like the survival stories and want to make that kind of thing yourself. You know, once we finish part 3, that might be it for a while as far as Machinima stuff goes. That kind of really just honed in Machinima project. There's definitely going to be more stuff in the future. Don't you worry. But I want to encourage sort of a next generation of ARK or just video game Machinima filmmakers to go on and make their own stuff, because I love watching it. And if I can inspire anyone in any way, then that means I've done it right. So really enjoyed the series. You didn't know about the lore of ARK, but now you love it even more. Awesome. Cool. Am I talking about Wildcard? In what? When? Or are you asking someone else? Juan, I have far too many questions. Well, I have a lot of questions for ARK lore, but they don't easily come to mind, to be honest. Usually I ask those and then they make a short about it after figuring it out. Or sometimes you just have to theorize. VAs on survival stories became definitive voices for the characters. For me, it will be hard to get used to animated series VAs. Really? I don't know. I mean, that's interesting. I don't know if it'll be like that for me, but so is part 3 of AB going to take like 6 months? No, it's going to be out actually very soon. So I'll talk about it tomorrow. But the trailer, I'm aiming to release the trailer for part 3 by June 2nd. And originally, I think like not long ago, I was like, yeah, let's just release the actual thing by June 2nd. But like I was saying, with taking more time and care and really, you know, putting a lot of love into this because it's the last one, I want to make sure that we're not rushing this and that I'm still putting in the hours, and everyone is, and putting so much care into this, but that this is something like, I want to do something I've never done before, which is not rush the ending. Like, and by ending, I mean the post-production stage, like I've been talking about. And so that's why I think I'll probably be saying tomorrow in the video, Sunday? Not tomorrow, 2 days from now, Sunday, that the trailer will be releasing June 2nd. Not that trailers are silly, okay? Let's be, trailers are cool. Trailers are great. but they're not like that worthy of release dates, I guess. Like the trailer release dates are worthy within the trailer itself, but I feel like a release date for a trailer is almost like, okay, cool. So I don't know how important it's going to be when I announce that, obviously, but giving you guys a date for the actual thing, which after the second, probably what we'll do is the actual release of part 3 on Patreon or on premium subscription service type stuff will be maybe the 9th or the 16th of June, and then full release will either be the 16th or the 23rd of June. So it's definitely going to be in the summer when part 3 releases. But we will be putting great care into it and doing everything to. I mean, the team and I can't speak for them necessarily, but I think that they seem to really like what we're making, and I could not be more. It is just so, like, trailers can be cringe sometimes, but that's why I try and make trailers that are not cringe. But part 3 is the most artistic survival story that I've produced, or that I will have produced, and it's going to involve just more passion, I think, than any of them so far. That's actually no, I take that back. That's a really vague and dumb claim, because you really can't measure that in any feasible way. But to be honest, it's genuinely something that's so, we just haven't done it before. We haven't done the sort of chronological. It's so delicate and just really it really feels like we're telling a really good story in a really good way with part 3. So thank you, Natia Gamer. Be sure not to spam the chat, just so that you don't bump up other people's messages. By the way, that weird Shinehorn mutant creature Rockwell made, would you ever make a mod for that? So that's the thing, as the creators of the survival stories and everyone involved, right, the people who are making the mods, mostly Golden, we're in this weird area where we're not necessarily that compelled to really release this kind of content, because most of it's not functional. Most of it, you like if we have a backpack in part 3 that you place on the ground, Amelia's backpack, and you punch it because it's a structure. You punch it, and then it's on a delay of 5 seconds, and then it plays an animation where it opens the zipper. It's completely dysfunctional. I mean, as in, these are sort of ridiculous, crude developer tool representations of different items, different weapons and armor types and structures and stuff, or even what you might believe are creatures, but in reality are structures. For example, that Shinehorn is literally a structure that you punch to change its animation for when Diana can shoot it. It was super scuffed and only functional to the degree that we needed for it to film. And sorry if that ruins a little bit of the magic, but yeah, so we're in a weird area where we're not necessarily that inclined to make this stuff functional, and at the end of the day, I'm not really the one that would be, I guess, responsible for making it functional, since Golden Drop has made most of the content that is sort of in the overarching scheme of things used for the survival stories, and Golden Drop is, I cannot speak for her. What do you think would make ARK better in terms of gameplay? Well, a lot of things. I mean, not actually a lot of things. I think you can infinitely sort of improve a game, or think of ways to improve a game, but at some point, I think a game just needs to stop being improved. Sure, fix the bugs and everything, but I've noticed for this is sort of off topic, but I've noticed for all the 7 or 8 years that I've been playing ARK that we're never really satisfied with the content in ARK, and people will always continue to eat up more and more. Oh, thank you, Brandon, for the 5 memberships. Thank you so much. I appreciate that. So, yeah, just to finish that, you know, I think the wildcard knows that we will just eat up new content. And I personally am very, very satisfied with what is in ARK and whatever is in ARK at any given time. You know, so I'm not, I don't necessarily like the idea of focusing so hard on like, okay, let's continue to add to ARK. Let's continue to add more and more and more and never stop. And, you know, if you think of a game, it's totally different, you know, but like The Last of Us or some random, you know, like I said, totally different type of game. Last of Us is a single player, you know, third person shooter game. But, you know, we all love anyone who's played The Last of Us, probably pretty well received, you know, it's a pretty good game. You know, it sets out, it does these things. You shoot zombies and you go through the levels and it's pretty linear and whatever. But it has enough content that we're like, okay, this is The Last of Us. And I do wish that sentiment could be applied to ARK, where we're just like happy with what is there. and we're like, you know what? We don't need to make it another 100 gigabytes on people's hard drives. But I do hope the ARK Survival Ascended does take up less space, is able to optimize things a little bit better. I don't know if that's possible though. I'm not really sure. I'm not sure on the technical stuff. That's awesome. D700M. I'm glad you learned some stuff. Yeah. Yeah, I really haven't played ARK in a while. You know, I really just use it for filming nowadays. And that's something I think may change for with Survival Ascended. Hey Ned, just want to give you an update on my Minecraft mod. You've over been as well as... Okay, interesting. I'm not interesting. Hey party people. Super Doom's Armada. The more you update, someone gonna have a problem with something, so it will never hit perfection. You can only keep it fresh. I suppose. Working on a story on Wattpad that is based on your Survivor called Surviving the Island. I see. Hello, Minecraft YOLO. What did you think after Clark called you and asked what your favorite dino is? I was a little confused, you know. I would have told him Trilobite, but I get kind of sick of that. I feel like it's a little repetitive. As much as I do love Trilobites. It really is the Trilobite. From your experience with UE5, ASA should be smaller, but not by a ton. Mayhaps. How many parts is the survival story planned on being currently? So, part 3 is the last part for Aberration. And then we're putting the survival stories on hold for the foreseeable future. So we're not necessarily ending the series, but it's being put on hold and will not necessarily continue to Extinction. It may, but that's something that we're gonna have to consider with. It'll be on ARK Survival Ascended, and it's gonna take probably a long time. But in its place, I'll be working on a lot of other stuff. So stay tuned for that, which you will not know anything about until at least a few months. Oh, what's the mod called that allows us to listen to Explore Notes? It's called Explore Notes Plus, and you can find it. I'll put it in the description for anyone on PC Steam who wants to play with Explore Notes Plus. I don't know how well received it is right now. I mean, it seems to be pretty well received generally, but Explore Notes Plus. But I don't know what the data is on it. That's something I think about with downloads and stuff. But yeah. So to answer a question to talk a little bit about something Ronan asked me about just a couple minutes ago in the chat. So the lore summary videos, Chaotic will of course know at least a little. Chaotic is someone who's been working on those with me for a little bit, and or really quite a few months now. So you guys may have seen there's I think 3, maybe 4 of them. I think just 3 out right now for the basically like ARK full story explained videos. And I started those once I realized that, or at least, upon the idea that part 3 was going to be the final survival story. At the moment, the plan is to still go through and finish the rest of these lore summaries, which are essentially going to explain and summarize the whole rest of the ARK story. Now, with the idea that we may end up doing Extinction, will that change whether or not the summary series happens, or the way in which it happens? I'm not too sure. I mean, sort of a little bit on the fence maybe, but I would prefer to finish it because when I start projects with other people, I prefer to finish them to the degree that I set out to finish them originally, in sort of as much as I reasonably did or thought that I would finish them. Like for example, when I started the survival stories almost 3 years ago, I didn't really believe that I was gonna like do everything up to like Genesis 2 or something, but I had a feeling I could get pretty far with it. Very naive of me, and we ended up getting pretty far, with the aberration, of course. Thank you, Nettie, for all the great work you and the team do. Really appreciate it. Thank you, Sam Henrique, for the Czar 35. Thank you so much for that super chat. When is part 3 coming out? So the trailer, well, first of all, check out the video on Sunday I'm going to be putting out that's going to be talking about part 3 as a project update, giving you some information about it, but also showing you some of the progress we've made on development, filming, all that kind of stuff. But then the trailer will for sure be releasing by June 2nd. And then the actual part 3 will release later in the month of June. So June, that's the window that's the month to be looking at. Yeah, but as I was saying, hold on. As I was saying, as far as the lore summary videos go, yeah, the plan is still to finish them. We are on, I think, just before part 2 and part 3 of Aberration. So I remember my idea was to finish part 3 before we continue with the lore summary series, so that I can have that out without massively spoiling it in the summary. Even though you can already read the notes. I know a lot of you have read the notes, but then I guess there's kind of also I've heard a lot of people that have avoided reading the notes because they want to see the lore guys. They want to see the story in this sort of like movie format, which is really kind of what it's turned into, this sort of narration movie dancing format. I don't even know how to describe it. But you make an ARK 2 story with Santiago. So ARK 2 is not at all on my mind right now. Like I could not care less about ARK 2 right now. Given that they just delayed it a year and like 6 months or something, probably more than that. I could not care less. Yeah, I'm really excited for Ab Part 3. As far as more ARK Machinima type content, that's definitely something that I'd like to do with Survival Ascended. And it'd be really cool if Survival Ascended had more Machinima type tools, which may end up being a thing. Possibly. I'm anticipating it. So that's going to make it even easier to produce that kind of content, but also it'll lower the sort of barrier of entry for those of you who might want to do it also. Love your work, man. Can't wait ASA to come out. Probably going to start your Ascension run. It comes out. I've not really done any bosses, just been focused. Gotcha. Now tell your cousin that the P&J with Cheetos are fire. Is that what Logan told you? That's great. I'll try and remember to tell him that. You're staying with the OG, I respect. Well, I mean, certainly when ARK 2 does come out, I'm surely gonna play it. But we can make more parody videos once. Yeah, that's true. Once ASA comes out. So by all means, I'm not like neglecting ARK 2 and saying I'm never gonna play it or something. It's just that ASA is something I'm gonna be utilizing in as many ways as I'm interested in, and if I can use ASA to make more products, videos that you guys like, mods, videos, just as much as I would love to make, and would also be just something you guys would like good products, I guess. I don't know. That's just kind of what I care about there. If I'm going to try a lot of things with ASA, and if the different things that I try don't end up being good, and don't end up being things that you guys find entertaining or insightful or informative, then I'm not going to make them. And it's just sort of that simple. So I'm excited for that, to be able to expand this Netty the Noodle section of what is now about to become a business. I'm about to make a business in a couple weeks. So I'm going to be, my long-term future plans is I'm going to be expanding Netty the Noodle to really just be hitting on tons of ARK related content that you guys like. And then once, as it's growing, I'll be able to expand in other sections that don't take away from Netty the Noodle and that don't force a bunch of stuff into the channel, but that also don't make it to where this channel is only used for one thing, So, yeah, over the next year, it doesn't mean much. I mean, Wildcard sort of said a similar thing, but in their one of their, I guess, their roadmap update, but words don't really mean all that much, and at least in this context, as far as describing future things, future products, and it's totally true. They really don't. Me telling you about my plans does not matter to you, because it's not tangible, it's not material, it's not something you have in front of you. So once you do have it in front of you, then maybe you'll care about it. If I did a good job. So that's the plan. Hello, Odin. Go check out his video. Thank you, Louis. Typos. Let's see. What can you make a expansion of Scorched Earth for the tech? Oh, gotcha. That probably will never happen. But that's just, we're just not really, like Spartan said, we're not really interested in doing that, just for a variety of reasons. It's a lot of work, and then from a sort of like product perspective, like I've been saying, like I don't view that as like a particularly good product. Does that make sense? And it's weird calling it what would be a mod a product. I've started to think about this kind of stuff in that way, thinking of the videos I make as products, and like a catalog, almost, and even mods as products. But really, I'm only 21 right now, but as I get older and continue to just focus on doing stuff that makes money and that provides something useful in some way to people in this demographic, you guys, who play video games and who like sci-fi and who like fucking orchestral hybrid music, sort of, fellow nerdy people. At least I think some of you are as nerdy as I am. Maybe not as nerdy, but if you are, good for you. Thank you, Dino Collective, for the $5 super chat. I love the work you and your team does. You've inspired me to begin making my own fan-made ARK series in the future. Any tips for filming an ARK? Thank you for asking that. That's so awesome to hear that. Any tips? So, I mean, it's going to depend on what you're making for sure. So I wouldn't offer like sort of specific things, but things that you can't really go wrong with is you know, sort of always be sort of humble and interested in learning, eager to learn more about Spartan. I saw the trailer. I liked it. I give it a like, thumbs up. Really nice trailer. In fact, guys, if you want to, so we've got someone on the survival stories team, Spartan, is working on his own project. So if you guys want an idea of what it would be like, you know, starting out, such as he is, there's his trailer for his project there. So feel free to check that out. But yeah, you know, sorry, tips, to get back to your question, you know, always try and learn more, just mess around in single player, or multiplayer. I assume Dino Collective that you're on PC. And so that's the first step. You can't really make Machinima effectively if you're not on the PC Steam version of ARK. It just limits things so much to the degree that you're better off if you're really interested in making Machinima, making the step to PC. That isn't to like discourage people that are on console, because definitely people might start out there. But you know, I'd say one of the first steps is to, you know, go to PC for sure. Okay, so you are on PC, good. But you know, then you want to learn about how to record. I would go with OBS. That's what I use. Dude, my nose is so itchy. I don't understand. I don't understand. Even with a bad computer, there's so much to learn out there. Even with a bad computer, you can limit your frame rate, and then speed up the frame rate in post. And in the process of limiting it, you also change the tick speed in the game so that it's slow motion. And then when you double it or times it by 4, it's going to necessarily be the right speed. There is so much out there. And Kuda course, Chris, who works for Wildcard, may be putting out some tutorials. They'll be for Survival Ascended for the UE5 version. If he starts that, he mentioned it on Twitter. So keep an eye out for that, because that may be very helpful for you. I know I'm very excited for it, especially because I don't know much about UE5. Hello, I'm your reviewer who lives in Korea. Your ARK story is very good. It's a shame it's coming to an end, but it was really nice. Thank you, viewer. I cannot say or pronounce your name, but thank you so much for the kind words. Wait, you can limit frame rate? Yeah. So you type t.max fps 30. You know, I was actually gonna make a video recently about how to get into, well, this was months back. I was gonna make a video like top 10 tips for Machinima and ARK, and I actually decided not to make that video because I thought it was too obscure of a topic that people just wouldn't be interested in. But if you guys, even for people who don't necessarily think you'll be interested in making Machinima, is that a video you would genuinely find interesting and that you would watch? Just let me know in the chat here, because I might end up making that, because it might be very helpful for a lot of people and help to encourage the kind of change in the community that I'd like to see, where, you know, I want to see more people creating stuff so that I can watch it, because I want to watch it. Who the F are you? I got a Windows notification of your stream and I'm subscribed, but I never... Jimmy, I'm Neddy the Noodle. I'm just Ned. I make ARK Machinima. Most well known for ARK the Survival Stories. But you may have also found me from ARK Shorts that go over that talk about little game design things, gameplay stuff, mostly lore things. Some of them have gotten over like 1 million views, so that might be how you found me. I'm not sure. But Jimmy, who the F are you? That's the real question. I'm kidding. I know who you are, Jimmy. I know all. Also kidding there, sorry. Don't want to make anyone uncomfortable. You say go for it, Brian. Even though you wouldn't do it, you love that kind of video and love to see one from you. You would watch it. Might help me with your boat videos. Cool. Yeah, I mean, I think Machinima. I think Machinima is often, you know, I agree with what's his name, John Graham, I think, in that it's a really useful tool for getting into real filmmaking, from just starting with games, with Machinima, something as simple as that. But where I'm looking for something. This is it, yeah. Is it John? Yeah, it's John. I don't know why I forgot. In fact, so it's funny. Speaking of Machinima, I'm actually working on a documentary, sort of a mini documentary. Whoa, Sam Henrique, thank you so much for the 35 Czar super chat. Nettie, I think your series should actually be on Netflix. That'd be cool to make a series on Netflix. Certainly, I wouldn't agree that the survival stories is something that should be up there, particularly because I don't own the rights to ARK. But thank you. Was just going to mention I'm working on, and I've actually interviewed a couple people who do Machinima or are involved with writing for games. In fact, I interviewed Mark Soskin, the man who wrote the story for ARK. He was one of the main writers. I wasn't the only one, but one of the main ones responsible for The Island, Scorched Earth, Aberration, Extinction. It was a real honor to interview him just a couple, maybe a week ago. And I asked him a little bit about Machinima, fan projects, that kind of thing. But also a lot of just more stuff about his background and also ARK lore related things that I was just curious about. So I'm not sure how that'll fit into this Machinima documentary, since mostly I asked him about other stuff. But I just wanted to mention that because it was so cool to interview the guy who wrote ARK's story. It's a big honor. I was sort of fanboying way too much, which is a mistake. No, you don't want to make. Be careful fanboying over people, guys, because I've done it. So that Machinima documentary is something I want to release pretty soon. I started working on it when I interviewed the guy who does Rust's trailers. If you guys know Rust, that game where you kill people with a rock and everyone's kind of naked just starting out. The developer behind Rust, called Facepunch, I interviewed their trailer guy. So he makes all their trailers. They're super high quality. I don't know if you've seen those. But if you haven't, they're really amazing. Got to interview him. He's like the first guy, and I asked him, talked to him about Machinima, and it's genuinely such a fascinating thing that I've come to fall in love with. I've been making Machinima since I was playing Minecraft when I was like 11 or 10 years old. And I never really imagined that it would go on to be what we're doing, what I'm doing now with the amazing people that I've met, and what it's going to mean moving forward. You have any inside info on the new map? No. No. I, by all means, no inside info there. But I do want to make a video very soon talking about it and about the theories for what it could be. Very likely, this Arat Prime. I think that's what most of us are thinking. So I think maybe that'll be for next Sunday. We make that. I'll give you a job making these stories as official content. Yeah, I mean, I wouldn't be too opposed to some sort of agreement or sponsorship there, but for the most part, I kind of like doing my own thing with my own team. How are you? Gamer 2009 something. Good. How are you? Oh, since they said Vale 18, you said, since they said ASA will be totally incompatible separate install, I guess your Extinction story videos will be kept in ARK Survival Evolved, since ASA Extinction will take... No, Vale, we're not going to be making any more Machinima in ARK Survival Evolved after the survival stories. Maybe save for some random skits if that ends up being something I make before ASA, which probably will be, because the summer is going to be a time I'm going to really be trying to make lots of content. And so, yeah. But hello, Golden. How are you? Hey, Logan. But yeah, so ASA, the Extinction survival stories, if we end up making them, will be for ASA long after Extinction has released. So we're talking late 2024, if even that. I guess because it's like Extinction's like a delayed launch, it would probably be closer to 2025 if if our Extinction survival stories, if we end up making them. To be honest, remember your videos now? How did you get the voice actors in survival stories? I just searched for people, look for people. You know, you look for guys. If you're looking for voice actors, you look for accents. You find a website like Fiverr or better website like Voice123. That's where more professional, more industry standard pay is also found, and some really good talent. So you search for the right, the accent you're looking for, the tone, the age, the male or female, anything, right? Funnily enough, one of our early plans for the Extinction survival stories was to make a bare bones port of ARK and UE5. Yeah, because Golden is funny because that was something I wanted to do even before the UE5 stuff ever was out, because I was talking about how I wanted to push the medium further than what we have right now because it's just not good enough. My standards, sort of the standards going higher and higher for quality. So it's kind of funny. Well, in the meantime, Ari, for yourself and anyone who really loves the survival stories and what they did, certainly it's large part. The survival stories has been successful, I think, large part due to the amazing writing of Mark Soskin. But I think I think it's also been very successful because of the unique style of content that everyone who's worked on it has come to create. I think largely that's because of the beautiful, amazing, sort of moody, and cryptic and just very immersive environments that Golden has created over the course of working on the project. I think that's part of what makes it so high quality. The great animations that Spartan has made to give life to the characters, which otherwise are just so very static in ARK. I think also it's because of my own style, whatever that is. As the creator, it's hard for me to really understand what my style is, or think of it as like a, that beautiful of a thing or anything. But, I think in addition to everyone else who's worked on the team, my own style is what has made the survival story successful. And that style is not going to be something that I lose track of. It may very well, it's going to evolve over time and adapt and become better, at least in my eyes. But that style will stick with me, and it'll continue to perpetuate into future projects. And so hopefully if that style is a significant enough part of what you guys have liked about the survival stories, then my future work is what's also going to be something that you like. It's not going to appeal to everyone, but the idea is I'll always make it appealing for my target audience, you guys. Are the Titans in Extinction the only ones left, or are there still a bunch around the globe? I don't know. I guess we can't really confirm that, maybe, but I could be wrong. Your videos fully delved me into the lore of ARK, and I was stoked to find out the painted shark's based on Herb Island, like we do every time on the island. Yeah, they lore-wise, they were set on Herbivore Island. The island to the southeast, I think they say. Hello, Sparky. How are you? Can't wait to see what the direwolf will look like in ARK 2. It's oddly specific, but yeah, me too. The tech survivors should have gotten you to help them when Rockwell injected element into him. You absolutely kicked his ass without tech. Wow, they really should have gotten you. You sound very qualified. O2 says, you don't think we hate on Perlovias enough. Void, you got to the channel by watching Journey's core vids. Oh, okay, gotcha. You know, I've been a little critical of the 100 days videos more recently. You know, we survived 100 days in the forest or ARK or whatever. You know, despite having made one just a couple weeks ago with Sons of the Forest. But moving forward, so like I was saying, I will be making a company very soon. I don't want to give out the name yet, not that anyone cares, or will steal it, but you'll see soon enough. And that company will have, it'll sort of be an umbrella for any of my stuff that I make, whether that's channels, games, mods, I guess, things like that. And underneath that company, which will resemble a trilobite and sort of have to do with trilobites, this reoccurring goddamn theme. Underneath that may very well be a channel I create just called, you know, Netty. It's pretty rare that you look up Netty and you find anything other than Netty the Noodle, at least from what I've seen. It's kind of not really been taken yet by anyone that, you know, has gotten, I guess, huge. And so on the Netty channel, if I end up making that, I'll do more of that kind of Journey's core type stuff, whether that's for ARK. But I feel like if it's for ARK, it would fit better on Netty the Noodle. Because that's the main thing with Netty the Noodle. But I think Netty will be, you know, first I think I want to establish that kind of like Journey's core style video in a more unique way that retains all the things that you guys maybe have found really entertaining about it and that I liked about making it, in a format that's not this 100 days thing, right? But it's still that kind of narration journey thing that hooks people. So, you know, I'd like to make ARK Survival Ascended content with that style, and then from there make Netty, just the Netty channel, where I take that style and put it into different other survival games. Because I don't know if you guys know this, but growing up, I've always really liked survival games like 7 Days to Die, The Forest, Rust, but not so much Rust anymore. It sort of totally died on me. Eddie the Gamer. Wow. That's so original. But yeah, I really like survival games, especially more recently Valheim. I'd like to maybe check out Smallland if I decide to buy it after playing through some of the games that I've just recently bought. Got a kind of a backlog there, but yeah. So Netty is a general survival game channel. But first, like I said, going to establish that style on ARK Survival Ascended with ARK first. Probably that's sort of the plan. So what do you think of the new Dino dossier? Are you talking about the Rinianatha? It's pretty good. It kind of looks like a crab, I guess, flying crab. Dossiers don't really, they don't seem all that crazy to me. They're kind of, you know, they're nice pieces of art, you know. They don't make me go crazy or anything. They're just like, okay, I guess I'll be interested when I see gameplay, you know, or a trailer, that kind of thing. Your team's overseer chamber was fire, especially the Mei-Yin kicking alien butt. Oh, the Hall of History. Yeah, glad you liked it, Sam. It was something. Golden did a really great job there. Do I use Dodo decks? Yeah, for sure. I mean, you know, when I was actually playing ARK regularly, I used it all the time. I don't know anyone who doesn't that plays ARK. I think almost all of us use it. It's pretty universal. How many hours did you guys spend on Aberration City? Because most of it was self-made, right? Yeah. In fact, yeah, I can actually load this up here. Oh, my nephew's playing a game. Give me a second. He's playing. What? Man, my nephew's wild. Okay. I bought God of War. I bought God of War when it was like on sale like a couple weeks ago. And I just see he's using my Steam library because we're doing like the family sharing thing. And he's already put 22 hours into this damn game. I was about to launch ARK and that would have kicked him off because it's like he's using a game from my library and only one user can use games from a library at a time. But he has 22 hours on God of War already. It is insane. How many hours do you guys... Yeah, that's the same thing. So if I'd like to show you, but I don't want to kick my nephew off, so I can show you a screenshot. Do playthrough of Terraria. You know, that might be a cool video for the Netty thing, to be honest. For the Netty channel, you know. But okay, so the city. So I can describe this a little bit. Boy of War. Whoa. Okay. So it doesn't. Okay. Let's see. Border. Right monitor. This is the right monitor, but left monitor this is not the right monitor. Give me a second. There we go. Okay. So this is the city. Yeah, to answer your question, yes, the city is made by us. We made so many tiers. There are very many tiers. They build it from the ground up pretty much. I mean, we literally show, you know, and I can talk a little bit about this with part one. You know, we showed the progression of the city. So if you look in part one, when they get, you know, we call it the aberration chapter, right? So they discover the city. And check this out. I mean, this place is pretty much... This right here, what you're seeing right here is this exact... Is this, okay? But there's no metal anywhere. It's just, we literally brought terrain in here to make it look like there was nothing here, okay? And that they built this from scratch, right? And then in the next shot, you see, well, it's been months later, and you know she's in a sleeping pod, and so we built all this stuff, and then we polished up the metal that's normally there, because you know this is built into the map. If you go here, you can go here in Aberration, you can see this place. As for the debris in the buildings here, this rubble and everything, this is for part 3. This is something you guys haven't seen before in any part 1 or part 2. You'll understand why this is in part 3, but basically this is sort of tier 6, the final tier before, you know, tier 7 theoretically would just be the sort of completely dissolved city, and it just being what you see on Aberration as players when you go to this spot. And really, I think that's another, you know, part 3 is really trying to connect you as players to the story, to the world, to the game world, so that you can understand. You know, because we couldn't make this the Aberration survival stories without eventually reaching the conclusion of like trying to genuinely make it something that you guys can understand the scope of and understand how the story of Aberration relates to Aberration itself, at least in some way. You know, and there were a lot of difficulties with interpreting different gameplay and lore things, and it's not perfect. There's tons of like ridiculous things that just are just like, what the hell, if you really think about it. but yeah. I was going to show you the multiple tiers. Have I defeated all the versions of the King Titan? Yes. Yes, I have indeed. But really just to finish this up here, like, yeah, like the city, I don't know if there's really any like super far away shots, but we built it. And then in part 2, we made it even larger. In part 2, we added like skyscrapers. You can't see it. Let's see. I think maybe in this one. So you can see there's a skyscraper here. This was built by Ness. And then let's see. But furthermore, so many of these structures were built, and then I spent months converting them into static meshes that we could view from a great distance away. And so really wish there was a better shot of this, of the city. There is one like over here, I swear. Come on. Rockwell's like looking at things, and he goes in the lab. Is this it?
That makes it worth reading.
Yeah, I think this is it. Okay, so here's a really good view of the city. So you can, yeah, this building right here, the skyscraper, this was, we made this, we added this, as well as the lights. You can see these were decals we added. The overall city itself, this structure generally, the giant like mega structure is in the game, but it's rusty, it's not polished like it is here. So we added this polish, we changed the material on it, and then we added all these little buildings here, made them into static meshes so you can see from a great distance away. Hello Tia, how are you? Welcome to the stream. When it's a static mesh, do things like doors still work? No. So most of these sets are completely not functional. They might have collision, but generally these were turned into just completely unusable things to sell the illusion, to ruin the magic. But if you didn't know that, you would think it's pretty magical, hopefully. Yeah, you guys want to join my Discord, the Noodle Bowl? That would be awesome. If you want to come hang out, learn more about what it is that we do, come join the Noodle Bowl with this epic Discord link right there. Cool. But to answer your question, Dino Collective, is there a way to access the ARK dev kit, and is it useful when making custom aberration content? Was also planning on making custom. Well, yes, absolutely. Yeah, it's super useful for. I mean, that's how you would make custom content for ARK, and that's how we've made all of this stuff, almost all of this stuff. So yeah, it's free to download the ARK dev kit. You can download it via the Epic Games launcher. You're good. Hope you're well. Hope you as well. I'm pretty good, thank you. What have you been up to, Tia? You guys made me connect with the pieces in aberration. You tried picturing civilization there, but struggled until I saw your team's creation. It all made sense. Good. That is the idea, and I hope part 3 further illustrates it for you. If Mei-Yin was knocking out Giga's triggers, we should be able to do it too. That ab. Ooh. You were playing Aberration on your Nintendo Switch earlier when you tried to go to the surface. You tried the northwest surface. You found about 15 Reapers surrounding an alpha. Your words. Oh, hell no. Yeah. Welcome to Aberration, as we like to say. Have I ever played ARK Mobile? No. But I've read some of the Explorer notes, and I also heard that they're updating and they're changing some things. I'm going to get some mochi and some water. I'll be right back. Thank you. Thank you for existing and for your enthusiasm, Dino Collective. Oh, let me get the stuff back. There we go. They aren't supporting official online servers anymore. Unofficial is still able to be supported, but yeah, official servers are going away. Are you guys going to continue the ARK stories for Gen 1? So Gen 1 and 2 are a little complicated. Gen 1 doesn't really have the type of story content that we would make a survival story with, but generally Extinction is as far, I think, as we'd want to go with doing the survival story stuff. If we even end up doing that, because, you know, our goals may have changed after such a long period of time, which is what it's going to be, you know, from the end of part 3 to Extinction in either late 2024 or early 2025. But, you know, I'll be doing other types of content that will hopefully, ideally, I mean, I will be sure that it delivers stuff that is equal to or greater than the quality of the survival stories. So if you've liked those survival stories, if you've liked the quality of them and the sort of the work that goes into them, then cool. That is what I will be trying to, will be 100% doing to an even greater degree in other projects that are totally different. Well, not totally different, but, you know, not the survival stories, not the ARK lore. Oh, too, Ned, you should do a podcast with some of the voice actors, maybe speak to them about ARK, how they like the characters they play. You know, most of them, like I was saying earlier, most of them don't really know ARK. I think some of them would be pretty cool with it, like Mei Konishi, Heather Foster. I'm sure she'd be interested. She, especially because she's into broadcast things, I think, and radio. Maybe Spencer Cannon, but that was sort of a one-off thing. You know, with Heather, it's felt a little bit less like a one-off thing, and certainly with Mei-Yin, or Mei Konishi. And then, you know, maybe Elliot would be interested. Well, thank you, Sam. You know, whatever, like I've been saying, whatever it is about the survival stories that seems to captivate you guys, is what I want to do more of, and even better in the future. So that, you know, and it's to the quality and the degree and it has the kind of purpose that will genuinely draw you to watch it, even though it's not the survival stories. And so I know I'm just talking about this, and I'm not showing you anything, but I guess you don't have to take my word for it. I'll never really ask anyone to do that, but I guess if you know my pattern of work and projects, then you probably know that I'm not bluffing, I guess. But your interpretation is your choice. This is frozen mochi. It's frozen rice paper, like the rice stuff with ice cream inside. I don't know. Not sponsored by Mochi ice cream. Yeah, I mean, Sam, you're completely right there, by the way. Like, you know exactly what's up. Because it really is about the teamwork. Working, I mean, for multiple reasons, right? Because you get things done way faster. You're able to actually make a project that releases in a reasonable amount of time. But also, you get this amazing crossover of and sort of if you're doing it right, if you're a good leader, you get this good sort of round table and like this big just collection of ideas that can proliferate and turn into amazing things. You know, when you bring a bunch of really cool people together, really talented people together, you get some really cool projects sometimes. Tia, you said you did write roleplay stories for different ARK maps back then, unique survivor stories, basically. Can you tell me about that? I'm curious. What was that? What was that for? Frochi, yeah. You keep telling people you want to be part of making videos that are on par with your quality, but of player stories instead of canon lore. Yeah, I mean, there's so many kinds of stories you can tell. This is kind of work, you know. Oh, too, you said it makes you sad how alone you are? Well, if it makes you sad being alone, you should find some friends. Find some people to play with. Because it's not really worth being sad, you know. When you speak to the team again, tell them you guys have a 30-year-old soldier who thanks them for the hard work you guys did. #1 fan from South Africa. Thank you. Thank you, Sam. I appreciate that. Thank you for supporting my work. It is an honor to be able to have a career doing this, to make this kind of stuff that you guys watch. You know, there's not a single day that I don't appreciate the opportunities it has given me to just keep exploring and making stuff that the ultimate goal is to, you know, be unique, be creative, and be appealing. You know, something that people really want to see. That's also, you know, fun to make, of course. You watched the interviews of players discussing the server shutdown. It was heartbreaking to watch that little 9-year-old talk about it. I think that video really successfully pulled at the heartstrings of a lot of people. It really popped off. Can I cook noodles? Yeah. I'm probably gonna make some ramen after this, actually. Yeah, Kona Voice. Guys, can we talk about Kona Voice for just a second? I don't know if you guys know. Kona Voice was part of my inspiration for making the survival stories. Kona Voice is also the guy who made that video with that 9-year-old. And all those interviewing those ARK official players. And Kona he made these like videos like years ago, a couple like 4 or 5 years ago, where he was like reading off the ARK notes, and you know, like Helena, Mei-Yin, and so on. And then he like went silent and just disappeared for multiple years. Excuse me. And then he comes back and starts talking about Snail games and Shi-Hi, and then he starts, you know, leaning into this like mass media kind of thing that I'm doing, and I was really curious. I was really fascinated by his decision to do that. And he's surprising. He's really, I think he's got a knack for that kind of thing, for that sort of mass communication interviews. So I am very excited to see what LT does. Oh, for your RP server, everyone had to write a longer backstory for their characters. Gotcha, that's cool. Yeah, Zach, I do kind of agree though. Like, I think they had to be wiped at some point. Wildcard were just had to be the ones to step up to do it. You know, I don't have the perspective of visual players, so. You know, like, I'm not them. So I'm not gonna say like I'm super happy about that or something, or that I have that much perspective. But you were inspired by Kona Voice, and then Kona Voice was inspired by you. Maybe. I did find it really funny because we have had like some just back and forth random chats maybe the past couple months, and it was funny because it felt like right when I was talking about Snail games and stuff, he just like came out of nowhere. Like, what? You got a smudge there, Ned. Thank you, Raz. How are you doing, Raz? What's up, man? Man, it's been a while since I've just been able to like sit down and chat with you guys. Man, Raz, how are you feeling about E3 getting canceled? I know it's sort of like old news, but I feel like I never got your perspective on it. My friend Riley and we canceled our like hotel reservation and everything like the day before it was canceled, because we just figured like, yeah, it's probably gonna get canceled. So this music is like so sad, or so like scary. Can we put some like jazz back on, please? There we go. Hyped to see what you've been filming. Oh boy. Dude, it is what we just filmed. I don't know what is wrong with the like post-processing or something, but what we just filmed feels like a goddamn 3D animation. It is like, I don't know what is going on with the team, but they are so good by now that I don't know, dude. It's weird. It just, part 3 is looking really good right now. We need to join Nettie with this ARK team with Vino. I would love collaborating. In fact, we have for the survival stories to some degree, which you guys will see in part 3. Yeah, super bummed, man. It was such a defining moment for you. Yeah, dreamt of going to E3 for like almost 30 years. Seriously. Yeah, that sucks. It sounds like it was an even bigger hit for you than either of us, because you know we're pretty young and we liked it, but you know we haven't seen E3 as long as you have, you know, as far as like knowing about it and sort of wanting to go to it, I suppose, I'd imagine. So it is what it is, man. But now I feel like you were talking about that ARKCon thing, and now I think we got to make that happen. So I mean, if ARK doesn't collapse in on itself in like the next year, and the community ends up thriving, which I am optimistic it could, then we should do an ARK con, man. Obviously, you have experience with event coordinating. I don't, but but I can make Machinima. But yeah, that'd be awesome. ARK con. You saw the stream when Raz was trolling the Rockwell model. What does that mean? You've been off official due to some circumstances with your sister. Got back, all your stuff was gone. Your base location been covered with pillars. That sucks. 100% let the storm die down and then look into it. Yeah, maybe for 2024. Because, I mean, man, just think, like I was thinking like a year ago, think about how small either of us were, or any of the people that you collaborate with now, and how much bigger the channels may be in just a year, and the kinds of resources we may have access to in a year could be pretty vastly different, so it's definitely not unrealistic, that kind of event. Raswell needs to be canon. Yeah. Oh yeah. I saw that fan art. Sir Clark Raswell. That's a good name. This music's making me sleepy. It's so chill. Oh, it's 11 p.m. Wow, I have completely lost track of time. Y'all, I think I'm going to just very briefly recap the stream and then we'll head off. We talked about things and stuff and things. And part 3, so remember guys, videos come in Sunday to talk a little bit about part 3 and what's up, when to expect it, release dates, how the project is going. I'll be showing you some teaser images, whatever I can scrounge up, whenever the team's okay with me sharing. So stay tuned. Really gonna do my best to kind of communicate as much as I can without spoiling too much. Not that it, again, you can read all these notes, so it is sort of that weird, like, okay, are we really spoiling things? But yeah, things are happening as always. And thank you all so much for coming to this little stream. So I'll just do these impromptu random streams on no apparent schedule, which I, for a while now, have always wanted to change. You get one actor involved, a few wildcard, one exclusive look at something, YouTubers on stage thing, some land type gameplay. We're halfway there. Yeah, dude. Oh yeah, 100%. Some sponsors. Get G Portal involved. G Portal all the way. Okay, only G Portal. All right, no other ARK server providers, only G Portal. I think we can both agree that is a good idea. Raz and I really like G Portal. Yeah, keep an eye out for June. By the way, Raz, since you may have missed it, but June is when we're going to be releasing part 3. It's a little ways off, but also it's pretty close, I guess. Let me get some like crazy. There you go. Beautiful. All right, y'all. Gotta play that Love Evolved music. So Sunday, stay tuned. As always, shorts pretty much every day. I've been releasing a short almost every day because we have a really great pipeline. And I'm working with Stellium, who's doing the writing, and Trigger, who's doing the editing. So They're really great. Getting those shorts out, that's kind of the main form of content while we work on the survival stories because it takes so much time, and of course I'm in school, but only 2 weeks left. Summer's close. Thank you all so much for watching, and we will see you all. I will see you all soon. I will talk to you soon. Goodbye, everyone. Take care.